Hi there guys, my name is ESO, though some of you may know of me as Danny, that's my real name. And today I wanted to make this super honest, transparent video just about Let's Plays on YouTube, I guess in general for most people, but also specifically why you might see some Let's Plays on my channel, like I start something and then I just don't finish it. And long story short, the reason is sometimes it's just not financially viable for me to finish a Let's Play on YouTube. Usually what you'll find is that I'll make the first there is like a point to this story, by the way, guys, if you continue watching. If you don't watch Let's Plays on my channel, that's fine. Just don't watch the video. But though I know there's so many of you that watch my Let's Plays and my walkthroughs, and even like I've had years later people being like, when's the next episode coming out for this one? And I'm just like, it's not, because I couldn't financially afford to keep playing the game. Okay, let me start from the top. So basically, what happens when you make a Let's Play or a walkthrough on YouTube is usually the first video is really good, especially if you launch it when the game has just come out, obviously, you know, as you'd expect. The video hits really well, like there's a bunch of new people and they might watch the first 10 minutes of the game and be like, oh yeah, I want to play this myself, but they might not watch the whole thing. But usually, personally, my retention on my YouTube videos is really good, so people are watching them and really enjoying them. And then you upload the second episode maybe a couple of days later, because I personally don't have my own editor. Basically, you upload the second episode maybe a couple of days later, and then that obviously gets slightly less views because some people didn't maybe like your personality, or maybe they just didn't have time to watch, or maybe YouTube notifications didn't even tell them the second episode was out, which has happened many times, believe me. It's kind of frustrating, I'm not going to lie, but it does happen. And for whatever reason, you get to the second episode, there's less people watching, the third episode, even less. And what I usually find is there's kind of like a decent amount of people watching, so I get to like the fourth episode. And understandably, you know, you're playing, by this time, I'm usually like at least 4 hours, if not, you know, sometimes even 15 hours in to a game at this point. And not everyone has time to watch that, but those people that do, really committed and love that content. And those are the people I feel like I'm really letting down by not finishing at this point. But the consensus of this is, like, the summary, like, of this story is that the first 1 or 2 episodes literally fund the rest of that walkthrough, the rest of that Let's Play. So, as you guys know, I do, how many games we played through this year? We played through the whole of Metro. We played through the many of the Skyrim DLCs, which obviously do well on this channel, because you guys just literally love to watch me play anything Skyrim, even if it's me just messing around. And even Oblivion, though, the DLC we've played through, and the Dark Brotherhood questline, I didn't manage to finish because YouTube just seemed to stop suggesting it to people. And I worked really hard on editing, and like, God, I worked so hard on those videos, and I thought they were really good, but God, people just, for some reason, YouTube wasn't suggesting them to people, and people just weren't watching them. And I mean, I can link the Oblivion, Dark Brotherhood playthrough stuff in the description, but I found that if I live streamed it, it was in people's face and they really enjoyed it and watched it with me, and it had high viewership. But then if I edited it down to this really funny sort of highly edited clips that were kind of hilarious in my opinion, but it just didn't, YouTube didn't push it as well. And then we have like the Kingdom Come Deliverance DLC, which I kind of started and didn't fully finish, but did kind of well. Then Dark Souls 1 did well, but then YouTube kind of changed a lot of rules, so if you were swearing in your videos, it just didn't work anymore. And we had a lot of that over the last couple of years, and it's just been a lot of adjustment, and to be honest, it's quite tiring to constantly change your content and try and fit in, which is where I guess Patron comes in and your constant support, but we'll get to that later. I mean, continuing onwards, we had The Outer Worlds more recently, Outwards, which was a game which was fantastic. It was like an indie developed game that was incredible to play through, and I played that as much as I could, but I didn't finish the game because I felt like, even though I'm like one of the few people that played that game who was like a big content creator, so I guess a lot of people watch that now, and I think the views are going up still. But at the time, it just wasn't financially viable when my videos are getting like 10,000 views. And then the thing is, if a video gets like a lot of views, it can look good from the consumer side if you're watching it and you're like, oh, why can't he play this? This video has 30,000 views or so on. But then only half of those views are actually monetized because so many people are using ad block. And I don't want to get on people's back about using ad block. I mean, I totally get it. Like, you know, I don't want to tell people what to do at all. And people aren't going to change the way they watch my content just because it's me. Which is why I made a Patreon account in the first place. But, you know, you have situations like this where you're trying to make content and the first and second episode, if they don't do well, and even if they do sometimes, if the Let's Play is going up beyond 10 episodes, I find, you know, you get less and less people watching. And The Outer Worlds being the most recent example on the channel, we did a live stream of each episode, and I was going between, I think, 3 and 5 hours per episode, just a live stream. And it was working really well. A lot of the money I got was through donations. Or people were like, keep on going, you know, and that was awesome, man. Like, that really does literally keep the content coming for you guys. But I found, like, so the first episode, I think, got 150,000 views. Let me look quickly. Part 2 got 80,000. Part 3 got 56,000. And then 36,000. And then 33,000. And then for some reason, on the final part, it got 17,000, which is like a massive drop-off considering, you know. Usually it's sort of a consistent 30,000 people sort of stay watching, which is like a mad number. But again, like, if half of those views aren't monetized, and I mean, it's amazing that you can't fund a Let's Play with that amount of viewership, and it does make me worry about smaller channels. But I mean, when you have that kind of viewership, like, you're still relying on that initial episode to get you the income. And especially like with Greedful, we didn't even manage to finish the Let's Play. But I mean, at this point, I guess I'm rambling. You guys get the idea of, like, you get to the point and, like, we only got to part 7 of Greedful and that had 13,000 viewers. And I was like, I really want to finish this because it's a great game, but I can't. Like, I feel like it gets to the point where it's killing the channel because my content's getting like 20 to 10,000 views every Let's Play episode, and I'm trying to subsidize it with the content that does well. It's a tricky one. It really is. And now I've got to The Witcher 3, and I'm doing this is just a completely honest video. I'm just not even going to cut and edit this. But The Witcher 3 the first episode got 30,000 views. Everyone that watched that is like, the retention's amazing. Everyone that's seen it is just like, yeah, this is incredible. Then the second video got 14,000 views, so already we're at like half the amount. And again, like, half of these views on each video are monetized. And I'm just thinking, I'm not going to be able to finish this unless I'm just kind of like, I'm doing this for free. And I mean, you know, if you're investing, I mean, say I do like an hour-long episode, then usually I'd spend like 2 hours recording it. Sometimes I have issues and I have to re-record stuff, especially because my system's getting quite old. I'm going to be updating that, by the way. I've saved up enough money to do a whole new PC build, which is coming, and I really need it. But let's say you have an hour-long episode. It's usually edited down from about 2 hours of footage, just like the main story, which is what I'm trying to capture in this Let's Play. For people who haven't played The Witcher before the Netflix series comes out, that's kind of like what I want to do with it. So that's 2 hours to record, and then it takes me probably 3 hours to edit that. So it's like 5 hours of my time. And then I always have to make sure that the video renders overnight, because otherwise I just can't touch my computer currently while it's rendering because there's so much stuff going on, and it's just not good enough to cope with that. So usually it takes me like at least a day to get an episode out, and like a day where I could be doing like, I don't know, a top 5 Skyrim video that always does really well, or working, you know, and that can take like 2 to 3 days or even more. Because some of this stuff does take a lot of research and a lot of time and effort editing, and especially the walkthroughs like take a lot of concentration and time, and it is exhausting. And I just think like the only way for me to continue this stuff moving forward is to put it behind a paywall, I never wanted to do that. Like genuinely, I remember saying like years ago, like I never would get to the point where you'd have to pay to watch my content. And so what I'm thinking of doing is basically, oh gosh, like having it on Patreon or like on YouTube membership, so that you get to the point where like you watch the first 4 episodes and then you're like, if you want to continue watching it, then you would pay for like a certain membership tier on YouTube if you want to stay on the platform, or on Patreon. Patreon only take 5% of my income, YouTube take 30%. So obviously if you support me on Patreon, it's a lot better. But yeah, that would be like the best way of meaning that I could fund my own content and continue to do those long Let's Plays and not let people down on like just stopping a Let's Play and not explaining why. But like, I mean, 100% of the time it's always because like I would be making more income doing other projects, and I go as far as I can doing sponsored videos and integrated stuff. But at the same time, if like I'm not performing, if I'm not getting the views for the advertiser who wants to advertise their mobile game or something, then I won't be able to work with them again. So I need to put it over content I know is going to do well. So it just leaves me in this really tricky, difficult position where I think the only way for me to proceed is with these longer Let's Plays is to put the rest of it behind the paywall. And I honestly hate to do that. But the thing is even if only 200 people signed up for it, it would already be worth it, you know? And I think if you like my personality and you like my content and it's worth it to you, then, you know, maybe it's worth you signing up for that. And I'll leave, you know, a breakdown of how it works in the description below. But I kind of hate that I'm doing it. I really do. And I kind of wish that I didn't need to. But at the end of the day, like, you know, 10,000 people can watch that video, but if only 5,000 are monetized views, then maybe it gets like, you know, maybe $50 or so. Yeah, it's just not financially viable. And I'm sure you guys can appreciate why. But yeah, that's it. I mean, it's as simple as that. I hope you guys understand. I really do. And I hope you sign up for it, and I hope we can enjoy this tight-knit community of members. It might be that I live stream some of them, and if you don't see the live stream live, then it will just go into the members only section and you can watch it thereafter, kind of like some Twitch subscription services work. But yeah, I think that's like how it's going to be. And I mean, obviously this is fantastic if you are a Patreon already or you're a member already, you just get more content. But I think most people are Patreons or members already because they just like to support me. Whereas this is going to be like, now I'm really giving you something for your money, which I guess is really good. But at the same time, I just hate the feeling of exiling people who can't afford it, who are still fans. So yeah, that's my honest opinion about this, and that's what I'm going to be doing moving forward. Check out the description for a full breakdown on how this works, and let me know your honest thoughts in the comment. Fire away. Honestly, like I've been really lucky, I think, to work with like Google Stadia, and work on these really cool projects, and like honestly products I'm super passionate about and that personally work amazingly well in my home and better than my current computer. Like Stadia runs Red Dead Redemption and all its other games and allows me to record them at a better frame rate, FPS, and at 4K, better than my bloody computer does, obviously because it's like 5 years old now as well. But I mean, why wouldn't I be wanting to support them? I think their system's amazing, honestly. So if you haven't seen my Stadia review, it is sponsored, so obviously there is a little bit of bias there, I guess, is what some people have been pointing out. But do go ahead and watch it, and leave the video a like if you did enjoy it, because that really helps support me as well. But yeah, I mean, but guys, I do have some pretty sweet merch coming out, linked in the description, and that is an awesome way of supporting the channel. It's basically a pillow based on Skyrim, but that's all I'm going to say. Just check it out for yourself. I think it's a pretty dank meme, if I don't say so myself, but Check it out. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section. And also, guys, by the way, I'm going to be making a whiskey channel, a whiskey review channel, which I've mentioned on Twitter. If you're interested, subscribe to that new channel. There's literally nothing on there yet. It's just going to be a very chill, relaxed, my opinion on what X whiskey tastes like. And also, I might do a video on how to get into whiskey if you're interested. But yeah, that's linked below as well. And I know that's going to make no money. That is literally purely just for fun. Let me know what you guys think about this membership-only, Patreon-only Witcher 3 gameplay videos. And if you are willing to sign up for it, I'll leave it all below. But that's going to be the case moving forward. I'm sorry. I'm not... I mean, there are probably like maybe like 5 YouTubers I could name on my hand who could like feasibly finish a Let's Play. And others that, you know, do so, but through the support of Patreon. And I think this moving forward is kind of what I want to do. So let me know your opinion on it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Goodbye, and have a fantastic night.